guys really think I was done with my couples ranking series? Let me think. No, I was never done. Until I probably reached a lot of animation studios. And one of you guys has requested to do Cartoon Network. And I accept, aka I'm working on it right now. Yay! And since things around Cartoon Network got a little confusing with the reboots, the love triangles, and the insane shipping community, total drama. It's kind of obvious that there are going to be some rules in this vid. Rule 1. Unless if it was from a love triangle, I am going to include some couples that did have a romantic history, like Valentino and Isabella, and Simon and Betty. Rule 2. Since it's only a rule for total drama, I'm not going to talk about the couples from Ridonkulous Race because 1, it's boring, 2, it doesn't feel the same without Chris McClain, and 3, it doesn't feel the same without the characters from season 1 through 5. Also, I haven't seen the new season yet, so the couples that were from that season are not going to be in this video. Rule 3. So like what I did in my Disney couples ranking video, except I only did couples that's been around for at least 5 minutes of screen time, I'm only going to be doing couples that has been around for at least 1 episode. Just 1. So I'm not going to be doing Jinx and Kid Flash from the OG Teen Titans. Rule 4. So since Cartoon Network is famous for some of its reboots being terrible, I'm not going to do any Scooby-Doo shows or any DC show except for the OG Teen Titans. And I'm also not going to be doing any couples from Samurai Jack because not only is that a Cartoon Network show, but I also found out that it was from Adult Swim. And lastly, Rule 5. So I'm not only going to rank the couples based on how healthy the relationship is, but I'm also going to rank them based on how satisfying they are because one of the couples from Total Drama is too unsatisfying to me for watch, like too uncomfortable. And that's basically pretty much it. So I counted and there was like 32 in total. So let's explore an amazing world of weirdness, survive for $1 million, fight aliens, criminals, and have a lesbian wedding. Let's rank! For number 32, we have Mr. and Mrs. Robinson from the Amazing World of Gumball. I say that this is just one of the Cartoon Network couples that just exists for the show and that's toxic because there's not a lot of toxic couples that I'm going to talk about later on. But due to their toxicity, it's very, very toxic, alright? I mean, they have been electrocuting each other, trying to destroy each other multiple times, broke up and then got back together again for some reason. But I think their only good qualities in the show was that they give birth to one of the most funny guys in the show, Rocky. For number 31, we have Alejandro and Heather from Total Drama. I'm just gonna call in and say this. This couple came out of nowhere, and by came out of nowhere, I mean got together unexpectedly. I mean, true, those two kind of hinted that those two like each other, even though they kept denying it, and Heather kicked him just for the money. And in season 5, Alejandro used the Chris Ability statue to avoid elimination and placed it on Heather. And for some reason, on the last episode of Total Drama All-Stars, they get together? For some reason? Like, how? For number 30, we have Principal Brown and Miss Simian from The Amazing World of Gumball. I honestly don't know what to say about this pair. I mean, Principal Brown is kind of bossy, but a little weird to Miss Simian. And Miss Simian is a freak show, and it's not that obvious to say why. I haven't seen the new season yet, so if I see those two keep fighting and getting weird around each other, then I'm gonna go ahead and get them to the divorce center. For number 29, we have Chowder and Panini from Chowder. I know these two are just kids and they got together as adults, and I don't know what they might do as teenagers, but look, they're this slow because I'm trying to save Chowder here, okay? Panini is basically a creepy simp. Like, she simps for Chowder so hard that he keeps convincing her that he is not her boyfriend. 1,000,000 times! For number 28, we have Lemongrab and Lumpy Space Princess from Adventure Time. I know these two don't get a lot of screen time, but they've been around for at least 1 episode, but I doubt that the relationship will last because 1, Lemongrab is a huge jerk and Lumpy Space Princess, she's just too sassy to be a girlfriend. For number 27, we have Jeff and Bridget from Total Drama. Remember around the beginning when I said that one of the couples from Total Drama was too unsatisfying to watch? That was Jeff and Bridget that I was talking about because I know those two have a healthy relationship, but their makeout sessions on camera is the part that makes me despise those two. Plus, Bridget kind of cheated on him for Alejandro, kind of, and yet Jeff forgives her for some reason. Because if there's anything I learned from cheating on someone, it's unforgivable. For number 26, we have Simon and Grace from Infinity Train. Now, a lot of people kept saying that they're just friends, but the creator of the show did confirm that those two did have a romantic history, and I did say that I am including the couples that did have romantic history, so these two count. But I did thought that those two were just friends until I saw Simon blushing, and then those funny banters, them hugging and have fun with Hazel, and that dance scene. And I also kind of get Cachadora vibes around here with the Broken Promises bit with Simon being around Grace's side until later on he doesn't. But out of all the toxic couples I ranked in this video, I think Simon and Grace is probably the most satisfying. For number 25, we have Muscle Man and Starla from Regular Show. I gotta be honest, I kind of forgot to put these two on the list. I mean, the only exciting couple in the Regular Show is just Rigby and Eileen, but these two, I mean, they're okay. I just see them as a couple that just exists for completely no reason. Like, it wasn't important to the story at all. Like, how was Mordecai supposed to handle his love triangle mess up? Simple! Just, screams. For number 24, we have Ben 10 and Kai from Ben 10 Omniverse. Like with Lemongrab and Love Me Space Princess, they didn't have a lot of screen time and episodes together. I mean, it was sort of like the whole forcing a love interest bit, like what Sarcastic Horace mentioned in his video. I wouldn't call this ship toxic or unlikable any means. It's just really, really, really forced, and I'm just like, yeah, that's basically it. Not to mention that she was one of the only love interests that he ended up with throughout his entire life. For number 23, we have Dexter's parents from Dexter's Laboratory. I honestly don't know what to say about these two. I mean, they're alright and all. I feel like they just exist for Dexter's existence, and that's actually completely it. I just feel like they're just like prototypes of Richard and Nicole Watterson from The Amazing World of Gumball. For number 22, we have Owen and Izzy from Total Drama. I gotta be honest, this is the most chaotic couple I have ever seen in Total Drama. I mean, with Owen literally acting like an animal when it comes to his love with food, and Izzy being, well, just Izzy with the whole recklessness and stuff. But as a kid back then, I never expected to see those two get together, and I still do today. Plus, thanks to Izzy being, a little too dangerous, they're probably better off broken up. For number 21, we have Tyler and Lindsay from Total Drama. I know those two have a healthy relationship, but I just feel like it won't last forever because, well, Lindsay's dumbness, and that's it. I just feel like that one day Tyler will just dump her because of how dumb she is, and that she, like, needs to learn better and probably take more advice from Courtney. For number 20, we have Steven and Connie from Steven Universe. To be honest, I kind of prefer these two as friends. Look, it's similar to the same opinion I talked about for Star and Marco back in my Disney couples ranking video. I kind of prefer these two, like, as friends because it was less messy, but when romantic, it, like, gets a little messed up. Like, when Steven tried to propose to Connie in future, she said, not now. No, I know that means she wants to marry him, just, like, not, like, as teenagers, but that scenario was kind of the reason how Steven was getting a little, messed up. So yeah, again, as a kid, I prefer these two as friends, and I still do today. Plus, that kiss, and that kind of, like, came out of nowhere. Like, when did those two get together? For number 19, we have Greg and Rose Quartz from Steven Universe. Once again, I do not know what to say about this pair. I mean, they just kind of, like, exist just for the main character's existence, and yeah, that's basically it. But their chemistry is okay. I just think that they're a little bit better than Dexter's parents. Kicking off the truly good section in number 18, we have Simon and Betty from Adventure Time. This is a couple where true love has gone very, very wrong. And by very wrong, I mean having a hard time to let go. Like, ever since Simon started turning into the Ice King, he did kind of scare off Betty away. And while Betty was, a witch, and while Simon was the Ice King, they were still trying to find each other. Well, mostly for Betty, but Simon, he had a confused mind. What makes this pair truly good is that around the finale of Adventure Time, when they reverted back to their original selves, they finally had a nice little reunion until Simon then escaped, but Betty, not just to make a wish for Gold to disappear, well, even though she actually ended up merging with Gold, but she also wanted to wish for the power to keep Simon safe. And after 1,000 years of searching, Simon finally learned to let go. And in Fiona and Cake, we actually get to see Simon officially say goodbye. There's a lot more to Simon and Betty's story, so I suggest watching the shows yourself. For number 17, we have Valentino and Isabella from Victor and Valentino. I'm just gonna come out and say this. Why does Valentino look a lot like Aaron, Isabella looks a lot like Aphmau, and Victor looks a lot, and sometimes act, like Ian? But seriously, with those two getting together, it was adorable. And with them under the night sky, it was just beautiful. Until Isabella had to turn into a villain. And it gave me Emerald Secret vibes over here. So what I'm saying is that this pair went from childhood lovers to hero ex-villain. And I can't forget to mention that Isabella's death was heartbreaking. Not just for Valentino, but for me as well. I got teared up. With her last words saying, "I'm glad I got to know you," it was proof that she actually loved him, even as a monster. For number 16, we have Beast Boy and Terra from the OG Teen Titans. Alright, so we have two versions of this pair. One where Beast Boy and Terra just ended up losing each other, which is very dark and tragic. And one where Beast Boy just kept getting used by Terra multiple times. And like what I said at the beginning of the video, I'm gonna stick with the OG. Also, before we move on, crazy fact. So when I was trying to figure out how many couples there were in Cartoon Network, I started to question which of Beast Boy's love life is canon. And by canon, I mean like a canon event. And when I looked it up, it was actually like canon with Terra, because they weren't just together in the show I was talking about, like the OG Teen Titans, but no, they were also together in the comics and even the DC AMU. When I realized this, I was like, wow, no wonder Beast Boy couldn't win over Raven's Heart in Teen Titans Go. Anyway, back to the ranking. So out of all the couples I ranked that had a tragic ending, like Simon and Betty or Valentino and Isabella, I feel like that Beast Boy and Terra had the most tragic. Because if it weren't for Slade, then those two would have had a happily ever after. Unlike what us BB Terra fans would have wanted. I mean, I really loved Slade as a villain until he decided to ruin two of my favorite pairs of the show. But again, if it weren't for Slade's manipulation, then those two would have been, boom, happy. For number 15, we have Marshall Lee and Gary from Fiona and Cake. Now, I know Fiona and Cake isn't a Cartoon Network show, but it is based off of a Cartoon Network show. And P.S., it's my video, so what are you gonna do about it? Huh? Do you? But yeah, these two, they're actually adorable. I mean, I know they're just like basically Marceline and Bubblegum like gender bent, but I don't care. They're still awesome. Even though they're still in the truly good section, I don't have like a lot of feelings towards them. I mean, they do have good chemistry. They're just not too satisfying for me. I think that even though they're the good couple here and there, I think that Bubbleline is probably better than them. For number 14, we have Richard and Nicole from The Amazing World of Gumball. Now, I wasn't sure on what section I should put this pair. I mean, there was Richard ordering over 40 cheeseburgers or something like that. But the more I thought about it, the more I realized they actually had a pretty good life together and a pretty good relationship. Like in the episode The Fury, he did this weird food thing to make her smile. So yeah, even though Richard has given Nicole a hard time to sleep, they still have a pretty good relationship. Even though with Nicole being a whole savage here and there and Richard being, well, Richard. For number 13, we have Harold and Lashana from Total Drama. Now, I wasn't sure to put Harold and Lashana on the list since they did kiss until Lashana was like, Harold, we were going too fast. I think we should go back to being friends. So why are they in the truly good section and close to the top 10 to all of you guys? Well, simple. Even though they didn't have a lot of time of being a couple, they still have a really great friendship here and there. So yeah, not a great romance, but a really great friendship. Also, just a small note that we are going to keep talking about Total Drama couples until we reach number 10. But there is going to be one more in the top 10, but I'll be talking about them soon. For number 12, we have Sean and Jasmine from Total Drama. It's kind of crazy from season 6, Pocatello Island had the only one couple that was able to make it through the end. And not to mention win the $1 million as well, and were able to split the half, I think. But I don't see why to hate them. I mean, they always had each other's backs and was able to make things through clearly and handle the problems with the miscommunication. Now, to remind you guys, miscommunication can be a common thing in a relationship of any kind. Not to mention a little bit of betrayal, Sean. But Sean can learn from his mistakes, so good for him. So yeah, despite what they got through, they were the best ship in Pocatello Island. For number 11, we have Sam and Dakota from Total Drama. Now, to be honest, I didn't expect those two to get together. I mean, when it comes to a gamer boy being, well, a nerd over video games, and when it comes to a girl who's being spoiled and, well, narcissistic or something like that. But Sam did help Dakota with her development, like turning her from a spoiled brat to a mutated girlfriend. A very sweet one. And strong. Also, in All-Star, Sam revealed that he only came back to the island just so that he can get covered in toxic goo and become a mutant like his girlfriend. Now that is really sweet of him. Cute, entertaining, but they didn't make my top 10. For number 10, we have Kelsey and Stax from Craig and the Creek. To be honest, this is the best couple in the entire show. I mean, what's better than two lesbians where one loves storytelling and one loves fantasy? Perfect combination. Yet, I don't think I've ever seen these two fight. Perfect, healthy relationship. Even though there's like 9 more that I find better. For number 9, we have Kevin and Gwen from the Ben 10 franchise. I can't be the only one. This is the best ship in the entire franchise. How do you ask? Well, simple. They've done the whole good girl, bad boy kind of dynamic. Well, like Duncan and Courtney, except there wasn't a love pentagon. They've done the whole one saved the other and then the other saves the other back. They were able to make the relationship work, unlike Ben's love life, which is really complex. And they're also an enemies to lovers. Like, since the first time they met, Gwen was like, yeah, I don't trust him. But you guys know that the enemies to lovers dynamic is one of my favorites. For number 8, we have Darwin and Carrie from The Amazing World of Gumball. I love Carwin, you love Carwin, we all love Carwin. What's not to love about these two flustered little cinnamon rolls? I mean, Darwin was able to break free of the love spell because of Carrie. However, they lose a few points in the end because we only have not a lot of episodes together as a couple. And Darwin, you can't just kiss your girlfriend before you two get together. Again, I haven't seen the new season, so moving on. For number 7, we have Gumball and Penny from The Amazing World of Gumball. And this will be the last time we'll be talking about The Amazing World of Gumball. Now, to be honest, the only reason why they're higher than Darwin and Carrie is because, well, 1, they have more screen time than those two, and 2, Gumball was the first one to support Penny to come out of her shell. And the first to accept her the way she was. Now, I know those two have had a few fights in there, but that's what makes them kind of realistic. They're like the whole young love teenagers bit kind of trope. And those two have more good moments than bad moments. For number 6, we have the last couple to talk about from Total Drama, and that is Mike and Zoe. I expected those two to get together from the start. And before you guys keep saying that those two are just Gwen and Trent 2.0, well, it ain't to me, because this is different. Now, I know there was a lot of drama, but that was basically because of Mike not telling the truth about his multiple personalities. Now, I don't really blame him, but even when Zoe found out, she even accepted him. Normally, in K-pop Demon Hunters, if you hide a secret for too long, it just ends up becoming a problem. But for Zoe, she was able to accept him very easily. Now, I know we don't get to see a lot of them in Total Drama All-Stars, but that was basically because of Mao. And when she found out about the truth about Mao, she was like, nah, forget about that guy. I'm going to get rid of him and get my man back. And this is just a theory, and even though Zoe won the $1 million, or if Mike did, if you prefer the alternate ending, I feel like they might want to split the money. For number 5, we have Ruby and Sapphire, aka Garnet, from Steven Universe. These two are really sweet. I mean, I really love the fact that they fuse just because of a few times they have arguments around each other, or they just want to see Steven or have a look at each other. Not to mention that they're the first lesbian animated couple to have a lesbian wedding. Not to mention there was this one episode where Garnet was explaining how Ruby and Sapphire came to be. There was this one scene where Sapphire was like, I accepted my fate to die. And then Ruby was like, nah, girl, I ain't gonna let that happen. I'm gonna save you. Also, 5,750 years? Dang, you two have a strong relationship. For number 4, we have Rigby and Eileen from Regular Show. While Mordecai was having a hard time dealing with relationships, Rigby was able to listen and learn from his mistakes and figure out how to be a better boyfriend with Eileen. Yet, I don't think there's a single flaw between these two. Probably. Maybe. I don't know. Also, not only do people love Rigby and Eileen being together, but this relationship also made Rigby a more likable character. Again, while Mordecai's love life has fumbled, Rigby was able to make his love life stable. For the bronze medal, we have Lady and Jake from Adventure Time. While Finn's love life has been a hopeless romantic, Jake was able to make it work out. Not to mention that this pair is the perfect straight side couple in Adventure Time. No matter what Finn tries to do, he just keeps ending up staying single. Editor's note, it was revealed that Finn has come back with Huntress and Fiona and Cake. I didn't know that until I was looking up for Simon and Betty. Anyway, back to the video. Also, the pregnancy with Phil was, shocking. But if I had to describe their parenting skills, I think for Lady, it's a bit unknown because I haven't seen this show in like a long time. But for Jake, it's 50-50. But hey, while Finn was fighting out monsters, Lady and Jake was in the middle of being a parent and being around each other as well. For the silver medal, I'm gonna give it to Princess Bubblegum and Marceline from Adventure Time. Weird fact. So growing up, while Cachadora was the first hit couple I was really obsessed with, Marceline and Bubblegum were the first queer characters I've been watching growing up. But yeah, while Jake and Lady's relationship was idealistic or something like that, Marceline and PB's were a realistic, and in my opinion, this is the best couple in the entire franchise. I mean, what's not to love in a princess that's literally made of bubblegum and a vampire queen that's been around for over 1,000 years? And it was crazy that those two first met when Marceline was having a show and then Bubblegum was just a fan. But then later on the relationship got toxic and then they haven't been seeing each other for a long time and then they got back together, but it started out as a healthy relationship. And you look at the episode Obsidian in Adventure Time Distant Lands, you see that our relationship has gotten a lot better. And we also get some lore! And by lore, I mean, like, we finally get to figure out how Marceline and Bubblegum first met, of how the relationship turned out, and why they weren't together back then, and a little bit more of Marceline's story as well. Also, you get to see those two have a gay dance here and there. Great couple, but there's just one couple that I find even better. For the gold medal of Cartoon Network romance, we have Robin and Starfire from the Teen Titans franchise. Like with Beast Boy and Terra, there are two versions of this couple. One where the reasons I'm going to explain in the video, because if I do explain the reasons now, I might spoil it, and where Robin is just a crazy simp and Starfire doesn't even like him back. I mean, seriously, there is this one episode where Robin turned all Titans into the 5 corner parts of their personality, and when he caught up to Starfire, he asked all of them if they want to marry him, and this is what they said. No. No. Dog Puck, no. And like with Beast Boy and Terra, I'm just gonna stick with the original, even though that the Teen Titans Go Robin and Starfire has more screen time, considering the fact that the show has over 400 episodes. But yes, 2003 Robin and Starfire is the best Cartoon Network romance ever created. Like, ever. And you guys even got it correct this time in the poll I sent out. But what makes Robin and Starfire so great is because, one, they have amazing dialogue with each other. 2, there were obvious signs that those two like each other with a little bit of jealousy, like the one episode where Robin was forced to be taken to prom, and one where Starfire was forced to marry by her sister. Not to mention there's Robin not looking down on Starfire since she was new to the world and she's a Tamaranian. And in the movie Teen Titans Trouble in Tokyo, Starfire was able to help Robin see that he can be more than just a hero. He can be, well, a boyfriend. And after that, BAM! We get the kiss we've been waiting for. The main thing I love about Robin and Starfire is that they were able to get through each other through the toughest obstacles of their lives. For example, when Robin was forced to be Slay's apprentice so that he can protect the Titans, and when he was fighting the Titans, Starfire was able to get through to him, and Robin? He hesitated. He didn't even want to hurt Starfire, but thanks to Slade, he had to ruin my favorite pair. But a good thing that they weren't even ruined, so good for them. Again, I like Slade as a villain, but he didn't have to keep ruining my favorite couples like that. I mean, he didn't with Robin and Starfire, but he did with Beast Boy and Terra. Like, the heck, man. I don't think my small opinion is doing them justice. Just please go watch the show. You won't regret it.